All right, so I kind of wanted to look at the Bruins roster now that it's set for the rest of the season, essentially. First line, you got Marchand, Bergeron, and DeBrusque. That likely doesn't change. DeBrusque will probably stay on the first line. This is all pretty much set for the most part. DeBrusque, maybe bump up those stats for the rest of the season. Maybe they dump him in the offseason. Maybe during the trade deadline that just happened, the draft. We'll see what happens. Second line, they got Halla centering Taylor Hall and David Pastrnak. Third line, Frederick Coyle Smith, Craig Smith. That's the nice 1-2-3 line. I hate when they call it. They have all these names for lines now. Frederick's number 11, Coyle's 13, Smith is number 12. They've been very good together. These two lines have been excellent since forming. Fourth line, you have Foligno, centered by Nosek with Lazar on the right wing. You have Blee and Studnicka as your depth forwards. You also have Oscar Steen in the AHL, who, I didn't put him up because he probably needs more time to develop, but he's looked good so far in his tenure in Boston. Defense, this is where we have a bit of an issue. We have Lindholm and McAvoy on the first pairing. It's going to happen. Second pairing, we have Grzelcyk and Brandon Carlo. Grzelcyk may move up and down the lineup as needed because there's a lot of defense players. I don't really know. It's going to be very variable for the third line defensive pairing. I put Connor Clifton and Forbert. You got a guy like Mike Riley who's also making $3 million a year. You just acquired Josh Brown. Yeah, you have Jack Ashan, who's showing he's NHL ready. You have Zaboral, who's on the IR and should come back at some point pretty soon. He looked excellent to start the season off. It's a shame he got hurt. So they have 10 defensive players that should be in the NHL. They shouldn't be AHL players. Realistically, I'm sure Ashan gets sent down. Zaboral probably gets sent down when he gets back. So then you have Riley and Josh Brown as your depth guys, but that still gives you 8 defensive players. Assuming you swap out Clifton and Riley, you got your first line pairing, which is going to tie up money, obviously. Carlo's on a good contract, $4.1 million. Grzelcyk gets $3.687 million or something silly. Clifton's a decent contract. He's only getting $1 million. He signed through next season. Forbert's making $3 million. Riley's making $3 million. Josh Brown is making $1.2 million. Ashan's, minor league guy, $925K. Zaboral, I believe, is also $925. Nope, $725. Zaboral, it will also be a UFA G6, which means he did not play the number of games required to be a restricted free agent this offseason for the Bruins, so he will be an unrestricted free agent, which is honestly kind of nice for Zaboral. He can go elsewhere and actually get some playing time. There's quite a bit of competition, so I think Zaboral is gone, which is kind of rough. I really like Zaboral, but it is what it is. In net, you have Swayman and Ullmark. So overall, I think the team's built pretty well. There's some glaring issues. It's good they got a left-hand shot defenseman. I think your first pairing of defense is good. I think this second pairing is kind of a hole. But you have a lot of guys that could fill the hole that haven't necessarily proved they could be consistent enough to be in that spot. Probably the most consistent is Grzelcyk. But I don't know. He's a great skater. He can provide a little bit of offense. All these guys are pretty good defensively, but a lot of these guys are third pairing defensemen. So I don't really know what you do with the defense. I'm kind of disappointed they didn't trade out a defensive player for a forward. They kind of need a forward. I was kind of expecting Halla to be gone. They need a second line center, and Halla's been good. I like him. He's played well on that second line, but you need somebody who's going to produce offensively more. Charlie Coyle has a no trade clause, and he has all these signing bonuses. You can't. They're not gonna buy him out. It's not a good financial decision just to buy out Charlie Coyle. Yeah, and they didn't trade DeBrusque. They're keeping DeBrusque. It's official. So I don't know. Is DeBrusque a first line right winger? No, I don't think he's shown that to this day, even during his 27 goal season. Maybe a second liner at best. So there's going to be some questions with the offense and the depth scoring. You hope the second and third line can continue scoring. That's all you can do is hope at this point. You got a good fourth line, a physical fourth line. You got a little beefier on defense with Josh Brown, assuming he's in the lineup, which I'm sure for playoff time he will be. Clifton, also very physical, can drop the gloves. McAvoy can play physical, but doesn't really drop the gloves ever. Coyle, just go look at his fights on hockeyfights.com. You'll see a trend. No punches are ever thrown. He just goes straight for the takedown every time. That's all. It's a little entertaining. So we'll see. We'll see what happens to them in the playoffs. I think they're Sweeney's obviously trying to go for it this year, but at the same time, I don't know if they have the offensive depth and the defensive powerhouses to necessarily make a statement in the playoffs. I still see them probably losing in the first round, probably to Florida. Florida's stacked. We'll see what's to come. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. What's going on? Do you think the Bruins are going to make a run, or what's going on here? Do you like the additions? What do you do with this defensive issue? You have a lot of money tied up on defense, and you have 10 players that should be in the NHL, one of which is on IR, 2 of which can be sent down to the AHL. But regardless, even if you exclude those, you still have 8 guys who are NHL caliber players and really can't be sent down. So I don't know what you do in this scenario. I don't know. That's just my take. Yeah, but like I said, let me know what you guys think, and thanks for watching. We'll see how tonight's game goes without Bergeron and Lindholm, and there's somebody else missing that I don't remember. But see how it goes. Until next time, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care.